Hello, hello! Welcome to Club Chrisette! I'm your host, Chrisette, and welcome back to the letter. So last time when we left off, Isabella may or may not have had a horrible fate, but we know for a fact that Rose died, which is kind of horrifying. And we're going to start off on Hannah's chapter. So without further ado, let's hop into it. They hang on to my every word and follow my every move. All of it would have been stifling had I not grown used to such stares. Most are respectful, some are hostile if we are honest. And a few are downright inappropriate. After all, I am.
Hannah Wright!
Oh my god, is this the priest? I remember in the last episode Zach was like, yeah, Ash says he sees the priest everywhere. He's at the bar and the movie theater. Is this him? There is a moment of agitation as a familiar, but less than welcome face approaches me with a suggestive smirk on his face. Of course, I have to keep a benevolent smile and greet him as I greet any good friend. After all, this man can turn heads, being famous in his own right.
Officer Lee! What a pleasant surprise. I didn't think you'd have the time to attend tonight's party.
He is more Luke's friend than mine. Screw your husband. Screw Luke, man. Really. And I am quite sure I only invited his wife. Much like I am only friends with the chief inspector because of Luke, Luke is only friends with Rochelle because of me. Unlike how I treated Lee, however, Luke never hid his animosity for the Lee matriarch. It was a sort of odd friendship where we would have had awkward double dates. I don't even recall his first name. It started with an N, I think. I might be wrong. Given the fact that she can't get Isabella's name right, she's probably wrong. Aside from being Chief Inspector of Luxbourne Police, his wife Rochelle, Lee Nee Vance, owns a General Electronics company, fridges and freezers mostly.
Oh, I always have time for my favourite socialite couple. Might I say, you look positively ravishing tonight.
Oh no.
I see the husband isn't with you.
Oh, double oh no. The way he eyes me up and down is enough to make my skin crawl. I just wish Luke was here to fend off the more unseemly of our peers. You know the ones. Men who are just a bit too friendly, staring too long at my assets, getting close just because my husband is not here. And to think they have the gall to do that at my own party. In my own house, if I might add. But like any high society woman worth her salt, I know how to handle it with grace and dignity.
I suppose you are looking pleasant as well. Luke's busy with work, unfortunately. Rochelle isn't here.
A shame. I do hope he isn't causing you much trouble. That husband of yours can be a bit tough sometimes, acting like he's still some young bachelor.
Oh. Is he implying that, like, when he's at work, he's really not at work? Shoot.
The wife sends her regards and her apologies, but something came up with a doctor and she needed to attend to it. You know her, being pregnant and all.
Aww. We make small talk. Rather, I'm forced to do so, as he would not leave my side after finding his place there. I'm surprised, like, if his wife is pregnant, why isn't he there with her? You know what I mean? Like, if he has time to come to a party, I mean, this is just like, is this what rich people do? Much to my chagrin, I've been extricated from the few who flock in hopes of flattering, for I can tolerate them far better than Lee. He is a nice enough person, and I adore his wife, who's obviously the brains behind the two. But there is something unsettling about him. I do not trust him as much as I want to. He regaled to me tales of the Luxbourne Police Department, a different affair to the usual gossip I am privy to, and though I loathe to admit, is interesting nonetheless. I expect the topic of business to die out quickly, which would be understandable enough due to the confidential nature of his work. But oh boy, was I wrong.
So, wearing civvies, I steal and drive off with one of the police mobiles, right? In the mirror, I see the mutant chasing on foot and screaming about theft.
Oh no.
The look on his face was priceless when I parked it in the garage.
Oh my. You made him chase you all the way home for a prank. What did Rochelle have to say about that?
Rochelle has a strange love and hate affair with Louis. She is married to a man who did not grow up past his early 20s, judging by the way he acts. Surprisingly enough, they have been married for a good 20 years. A lifetime if you compare it to my marriage of 7 years with Luke. I, on the other hand, well, Luke is no Lee. I should be happy about that, I suppose. Although my darling did have his moments.
The wife pulled my ear and gave me a good talking to, though. Besides, we live in a flat a block away, so it wasn't much of a grand chase.
Weren't you living in a house near the countryside?
Moved for work, you know. Or you probably don't.
No, I don't. But a flat in downtown. I suppose if that's what you like.
Oh, it's horrid. Hate that tiny place, no matter how convenient it can be for work. 55 square yards are not enough when you need to get away from the wife.
I sort of know that feeling all too well.
I wouldn't mind a place away from the city. Even started looking at the ad. I spied an interesting lot, actually. Heard it was finally put up for sale, or that something mansion. You know the one with all the ghost stories.
Oh, so this is how she heard of it. Okay. I know what he's talking about. There are really only a few urban legends around here. It's...
The Ermagerd Mansion?
The Ermagerd Mansion?
That's the one. Worthy of a king it is. I'd buy it myself, but Rochelle would only gripe if I brought it up to her. Not to mention all the expenses a place like that will be a real fixer-upper. You also have to find someone willing to work there with how superstitious people can be.
So this is how she got Mary Ann then?
If it becomes a problem, just hire someone to do an exorcism.
Okay, so this is what this line perfectly lines up with what she said in the last chapter. She was thinking about getting a blessing, but we beat her to it. So this is why it wasn't so much a cultural thing. She herself, I guess, is superstitious.
Actually, I do know of someone who could be up to the task. You remember the Ludgates party at their Christchurch summer residence?
Of course. It was an excellent soiree. Everything was so classy, too. Such good taste.
Oh, that place was a pigsty until they hired out this interior designer and they turned it into a bloody palace. She worked for the Exodus for their apartment in Soho too, and they recommended her when we were looking up pieces for our beach house in Porto Colom. I think I have a business card, right? No, I must have left it in my other jacket. Anyway, she's called, what's her name? Marianne, I believe, yes. But truly, if anyone were to get that place in McCullough, well, they'd be the envy and the talk of the town.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, if you put it that way, I might just snatch it up for myself. This place was starting to feel a bit small lately anyway.
Huh. I mean, it looks sizable. Sure, a 3-story penthouse might not fit the definition of small for some people. Okay, maybe a lot of people. But it isn't big enough to have grand parties in. As it is, I only invite about 30 people to this one. It already feels cramped in here. It certainly would be nice if I didn't have to ride an elevator up and down several floors before I can get anywhere else as well. All Luke's words, not mine. Besides, I have been looking for a good anniversary gift. Luke might like this one. Where is he, anyway? So that's how we heard about it. Luke is dressed to the nines, as he usually is. He's dressed like he deserves his face to be punched, you know what I mean? And he looks ready for whatever the day will throw at him. His butler and valet wait at his side just in case he isn't ready as he looks. Oh, sure, that is normal. What is the What is confusing me is the fact that he is on his way out of the penthouse, considering he won't have anywhere to go until much later. Does it have to do with him being a bachelor still?
Where are you going?
I am to attend the Triad Autumn tasting. I
Oh,
do believe
okay.
I informed you of this 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yes. And might I remind you that I had stricken that off your schedule? Because 1, the doctor told you to stop consuming so much alcohol.
Oh, so he has alcoholism as well as racism.
And 2, I informed you a few days ago about the open house we are going to attend in its place. I've even found this marvelous interior designer, Mary Ann McCullough.
It's a 3.5-hour drive to Cardiff. I don't have time for this. This is like that little party you threw all over again. You don't inform me of it, and you expect me to stay and be a gracious host when I have business elsewhere.
Huh. They seem to not have a good relationship, or at least they're having trouble with lining things up that marry up each other's schedules.
You know how I operate, Hana. Unless this was penciled in, I am sticking to my schedule.
If I may intrude, the madam is correct. Your physician did insist you moderate your drinking, unless you wish to incur acute pancreatitis.
Oh wow. Thank
And
God
you did
for
have the open
Joanne.
house penciled in last Wednesday morning.
Oh, he's the real hero of the story here, Johann. So I don't know if that's how you say his name.
Bullocks, I don't remember doing so.
Well, you did. While very hungover, in fact.
He did. Moaned about me being too loud and gave in after some pushing. Perhaps it was a bit too cruel and manipulative of me, but
Whose side are you on?
Come on, Luke. You promised we'd do whatever I want this weekend.
Gordon Bennett, fine. I am giving this house tour of yours a chance. But if it proves to be a waste of time, I am going to Cardiff, and you are going to take a cab home.
oh my god, what an absolute... I don't like him. I said in the last video I don't like him, and I still stand by my point. Like, what's worse is we're playing as his wife right now, and he's being just as nasty to us as he was being to, Isabella, a complete stranger. He's not as bad as he was to Zach, though, right now. His choice of language isn't misogynistic as it is racist.
Are we clear?
It's just a bit of a husband-wife tit for tat, isn't it? All couples have their arguments. Once the honeymoon phase is over, as they seem to call it, reality sets in that you and your partner might not always see eye to eye. Perhaps it has been the years. 7 of them is nothing to scoff at.
I just cannot bloody believe I agreed to this. I was really looking forward to the Triad tasting.
Though sometimes, I think it's a bit more than just simple disagreements, and I had to stop myself from wondering where we went wrong.
There's always the Triad Christmas tasting in Manchester next month, and that'll only be an hour and a half drive.
Have I been neglectful? I think he's the one being neglectful. Let's look at our relationship status. I was gonna say it's pretty high with Luke, even though it doesn't seem like it. Have I offended? Have I acted shamefully?
Yes, but Cardiff.
Certainly any problem can be discussed. As long as he doesn't turn me away. Oh girl, I know that.
Well, there goes my good mood. Are you happy now, Hana?
So this is why he was super, upset and detached when we were looking at the house. Why must he treat me this way? Defend yourself, girl!
Yes, I am very happy, Luke. Because for once in a very long time, we are doing what I want.
You're not the one being neglectful then. Like he says, if it's not penciled in, he's not gonna hang out with you. Which is horrible that he has to pencil in his wife. Why did that improve our relationship? I'm not trying to save Luke.
Understood. And this would be perfect if you stop acting like a child who needs their nappy changed.
Ooh.
We will be leaving after lunch for the Ermengarde mansion. You are going to park your rear in the car and keep mum. And you are going to behave during the tour.
Needless to say, Luke looks a bit shocked at my little outburst. He opened and closed his mouth a few times, struggling to reply before he crosses his arms to look like, well, a moping child. He's like, well, damn, I have been a dick to you.
Any more rules for this little excursion of yours, Your Highness?
Oh!
No wine.
No wine? Unacceptable! I am already not allowed to the tasting, and you would deprive me of that simple pleasure?
Your doctor told you to moderate your alcohol intake, bro.
If I see you take one sip today, I will put the stocks under lock and key. Do you understand me?
Don't forget the bottles he keeps in his dresser.
Oh, thank you, Jones.
Whose side are you on?
How many times in one day can you ask that?
As many times as I need you, traitor.
The ride to the mansion is quiet, with Luke having stared out the window the entire way, not paying attention to anything around him. Meanwhile, I am conflicted. I don't know if I should apologize for changing his plans like that. No. But by the time we arrive at the mansion and I see his eyes light up in genuine interest, apologizing is the last thing on my mind. The whole affair with the Ermengarde mansion is certainly an interesting experience. The place has been renovated and restored by the owners to what they claim to be acceptable standards. The mansion itself looks like something befitting of a fairy tale or a period place, or a period piece. It is tastefully decorated, and with a little love and attention, I'm sure it can be a place for Luke and I to call home. And the number of other prospective buyers that come from the powerful and wealthy of Luxbourne certainly did not disappoint, marking this estate as prime property. The Lees are amongst the group who went with the Rose woman, and I saw a few other notable faces, though I did not feel like mingling. Unfortunately for every one of them, the Wrights are interested in buying. What the hell? Isabella, you don't look the same as you do in your little flat picture that's usually in the corner over here. What's been bugging my mind, however, is that Isabel... Wheel and woe, okay. What is her problem? I don't quite understand what is happening. One moment she is scrambling to give us the paperwork to finalize the sale. Then she's panicking over some sort of prank letter or another.
Dear me, is Isabel alright?
It is apparent with the way she shakes and by the pallor of her skin that something has really shaken her up.
Isabella, do you need me to call that ambulance?
I am worried that it will be best if she is attended by someone more familiar to her, like her partner. Like I said earlier, I do like Hannah so far. Like, I feel like besides forgetting our name, Isabella's name, and the like, she's actually kind of genuinely concerned for people and things. You know what I mean? I feel kind of bad for her. She seems like the kind of woman who usually gets walked over. But she said earlier in this chapter that she can handle herself, so I don't know. But even then, the girl refuses Rose offered drink and looks just about ready to make a run for it.
I'm just feeling a bit out of it. Excuse me. I'll be back. I just need to catch my breath.
And she does so, just as I predicted, and her partner follows like a concerned mother. There's an awkward air amongst us as we are left in the wake of whatever that was. The others murmur and gossip with each other, speaking of the poor, daft girl, and telling the tale of whoever was not audience to the act in the first place. It doesn't take long for the woman Rose to return and pull us aside into the study for what I rightfully assume is the damage control. Rose invites Marianne too, hoping to apologize to her as well. But the woman refuses, saying she is not one of her clients anyway. That leaves myself, Rose, and Luke. The last all too eager to make himself comfortable in the study he's no doubt already claimed as his own.
I can't apologize enough about what just happened. Please forgive Isabella. She's been under a lot of pressure lately. She's young and all those rumors about this being haunted just got to her head. And it must be this terrible heat too. Not a drop of rain for days now.
Are you sure it is wise to just let her go like that?
Aha! This is what I was just talking about like a moment ago. Her concern for others is quite real.
Where is the poor dear? She might get hurt.
She's more likely to hurt somebody else, given what just happened.
Luke!
I told her to sit down and take a break. Already rang someone to pick her up, too.
That might be for the best, dear. But please, we're here to talk about the mansion, yes? Why, I absolutely adore it. Don't you, Luke?
I don't want to hear his answer.
Some of the rooms will certainly have to be repurposed. We want to change the appliances and have Marianne lead on the decor, but the whole thing is just lovely.
I guess. It's certainly a lot roomier than our penthouse.
Exactly. Lots of space for guests, parties, a lot of room for little ones to run around too.
Let's not discuss that right now, Buttercup.
God, his face doesn't match how he just sounded. Like, this is the second time children have been implied.
Anyway, I do think it would be a shame to let this mansion slip past us.
Oh, now he's interested?
But you haven't even finished touring the house.
Well, we like what we've seen.
I am making her job easier for her, am I not? No need for loans or long price negotiations. We can just sign a contract and close the deal. Really, you think the woman would be more than happy about an easy sale. I know how these estate agents worked, how long they had to wait, and how much they had to spend even just for a single sale. Why, she should be jumping for joy by now. I'm sure the commission on this mansion is nothing to sneeze at, even if she has to split it with that Isabel girl.
Do you think we could have horses here?
What?
Yes, those do sound nice, love. Anyway, if anyone else is interested in buying this property, I assure you that I'm able and willing to give a better offer.
A vineyard would be nice. Or maybe
And we do reward our people quite generously, Rose. So if I were you, I would start on that paperwork.
Helicopter pad.
What? I pause. And there's a small moment of complete silence where Rose and I just stare incredulously at Luke. It is an unspoken understanding, a rule, between the two of us that we have put on an act. With our social standing, where image matters, it is also important to avoid making enemies. And to follow this rule is an easy feat for me. From youth, I have been a well-trained social butterfly, gracious and graceful. Luke, on the other hand...
Wait, what, Luke? No, what? Whatever would we need a helipad for?
Well, he likes to play the fool sometimes, even if he isn't saying anything, but... As he throws me a wry smile, I shake my head and beckon Rose over. This is to be our home, and there is nothing she or anyone else can do to change my mind. This is the place that speaks the power and importance and, at the same time, of safety and comfort. Perhaps we can even have our family here. There's definitely no better gift than this for our special date. Why, everything here is absolutely wonderful. Except for this. Oh, well, except for this ugly painting in the study. Oh, Jesus, I don't think that's a painting, girl. It looks like a bad fake of an Edvard Munch painting. I don't know who that is. I'll see if that's an actual person.
Here's the deal. I'm willing to pay 10% higher than your listing price. If anyone tries to outbid us, just add another 5%. I doubt anyone can, of course. Or, you know what? Just add 15% to the listing price, and we can sign all the paperwork now.
I guess, if that's what you want. That won't be any trouble. I don't have all the papers now. Didn't think this would be a quick sell.
See, and I understand where she's coming from on that, because given the legends and stuff, like, they didn't know how much of a sell this was going to be.
I'll have copies sent to you so you can look over them. And if you'd still like to finish the rest of the tour with Isabella's group, you're more than welcome to.
No, I think we're good here. We'd appreciate a private tour of the place a lot more, I think.
All right. Should I let Marianne in, then?
Marianne? Oh, right, she's been waiting outside the study this whole time, hasn't she? I'll need to have a little chat with her to move this little mansion project forward.
Please do.
There's a look of apprehension when the other woman enters the study. Yet, like a professional, I see the moment when she steels herself and masks her worry.
We have this project then?
Of course. Will you be needing anything from us?
Having the floor plans would be a great start, just so that I can look at them beforehand. And if you could tell me when you're available for a meeting so that I can include it in my calendar?
Oh, is a meeting really all that necessary, Marianne? I guess we can send Johans to help you out.
Oh, Johans, okay. I definitely didn't know how to pronounce that earlier.
You two can start by getting rid of this ugly painting.
Is this when a hush falls upon the room at my request? Is it a painting? I mean, we know this person exists, this girl, but is it a painting, or is it like, has she just inserted herself in the picture? Do you know what I mean?
What painting?
Oh god. And lo and behold, the painting is gone. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, it was an insert. In its place, a mirror stand, which leaves me to look at my own reflection, confused expression.
Odd. Well, no matter.
Uh-huh.
Back to the topic at hand. Marianne, dear, we are simply far too busy to meet up.
Maybe I should. Let's save this. Let's test out these options.
But I guess we can free up a day to meet with you.
Okay, that improves our relationship with Marianne. So, really the only people I'm interested in saving at this point, you know, at least from I guess Hannah's point of view, or having a relationship with, is Marianne. If we had the chance to meet anyone else, I'd like to have a good relationship with them.
I don't really need another Maudlin Monday reading about Maury anyway. The book club can function without me for one day. What time shall we be seeing each other? How does lunch sound?
Besides, my house has a higher priority over book club. She's like, this is already my house. Why, we can hold the next meeting in this place. Surely the beauty and grandeur of it all will inspire spirited and lively debates about whether modern-day writers could match up to the classics. I might as well clear up the rest of my week to handle whatever affairs buying this mansion requires me. Any social activity can be put off until the Ermengarde mansion, or rather, the Wrights mansion, great debut. I'll have my fill of great parties and gatherings, especially when I organize them myself.
That sounds good. Although, with a project of this scope, we might need most of the day to tackle your concerns.
Okay.
A more thorough inspection of the place is also preferable.
Breakfast then. It's a date.
It's really not.
All right. Monday, 10 o'clock sharp. We'll see you then.
Actually, Marianne suggested that we meet at 9, but who is even awake at that unholy hour? I know, right? I was lucky enough to wake up this morning before Luke went all the way to Cardiff. We say our goodbyes, shake hands, and make it clear without outright saying it that we now own this house. By the time we left the mansion's grounds, sunset is almost upon us.
So, you really want to buy this place then? That's a bit of a big impulse buy, even coming from you. Not that I'm complaining.
Why does he look so evil in this, like, little art? I mean, I know he's, like, absolutely less than a preferable person, but still. I feel elated when I hear those words from him. It's not every day one is able to please someone like Luke. He gives away false flattery to sway those who starve for his attention and approval. But in the privacy of closed doors, he would often express his grievances. He neither censored himself in front of me, nor spared me of his criticism.
You have been saying the penthouse was getting a bit too small for you. Happy anniversary!
Oh, that time of the year already?
Oh my god! He forgot about it last year, too. I wonder why. I understand he's a busy man, but...
Is that why you want to buy it?
Yes. You don't like it?
I do. But I remember you used to talk about how you wanted to live next to the beach.
Botany Bay, Kent. I remember the sea, water that stretched on for miles and miles as far as the eye can see. As a kid, I loved our beach trips, swimming all day as much as I could. I was a well-behaved child, and the only time I was ever truly difficult was when I refused to get out of the waters, even when my fingers had gone all wrinkly. And even when they managed to pull me out of the water, there was always sandcastles. The day before we married, I told Luke that I wanted a house on the beach and a dog. A kid or two. None of those ever came true 7 years later.
That was a childish dream. Living next to the beach is so impractical if you really think about it.
I don't know. It's not a bad thought to see you in a bathing suit every day.
What? Like, it's actually interesting to see him, show interest in someone.
Maybe another time, love. We still have forever, don't we?
He says nothing, only grabbing my hand and holding it tight as we spend the rest of the car ride home in silence. I miss the sea. Sick and hovering over the loo at 3 in the morning, the picture I paint right now is hardly glamorous. A horribly fishy taste in my mouth as I throw up what I had for dinner, and I hate the acid stench that fills the laboratory. The burning sensation at the back of my throat is of no help whatsoever. I feel another wave of nausea come up on me as the door opens.
Hannah, what are you doing so early out of bed?
I'm fine, love. I must have just eaten something bad.
Is she pregnant? That's all I managed to say before vomiting again into the porcelain throne. Lovely.
Just go back to bed, Luke. I'm going to clean up here.
I refuse to look at him. I don't want him to see me like this. The last time I had a horrible morning, retrenching into a toilet, was during my college years, being the life of the party. Thoughtless and shameless, I had thrown away months of frivolous merriment and pointless hookups. I didn't even retain any of the connections I had made from that time. Sure, they still know of me, and I still know of them, and we still do business from time to time. But I've lost touch with anyone who doesn't see me on a daily basis. I hardly have any of the friends I had when I was still Hannah Evans, teachers, fellow university students, drinking buddies, and old conquests like Jack.
No, don't touch me, sweetie. It's disgusting.
What the hell? I don't like Luke. These scenes where he's actually trying to comfort and show love toward his wife are very strange to me.
I'm disgusting.
Luke sits down next to me on the toilet floor to hold up my hair even as I cough up more fish. He wipes the vomit from the corner of my mouth and just stares.
Do I need to fire someone? I don't feel sick.
Just feeling a bit under the weather, dear. It's been unbearably hot as of late, hasn't it? I do wish it would rain.
Are you sure it wasn't those sweets? I told you not to eat those sweets.
Maybe. Well, don't laugh.
So why is he wearing a suit at 3 in the morning?
Well, I can't help if you make that sort of face.
He starts chuckling, and soon enough, he's in a fit of laughter. The scene happening next to the loo, filled with sick, just makes the whole thing bizarre, and it nearly makes me start giggling as well. I try to stifle it, though, as I smack him on the shoulder.
I'm not making a face, Luke. Stop laughing. Shut up.
When he would not stop laughing, I let myself go as laughter bubbles from my own throat, and I forget whatever ill feelings plagued me. We are just husband and wife, laughing together at a funny face, the little things in life. I let myself go because I know that these moments will not last forever. But if I just know the terrible things that are to come for us, I would have wished with everything I have, then and there, that the laughter stayed.
Up, higher! Come on now!
The place is now bustling with movers carrying furnishings here and there, along with several trunks of personal belongings taken from our penthouse. Luke watches them like a hawk, making sure that nothing is handled carelessly or gets stolen.
Careful now! I know your pictures are framed by cheap plastic, but those are framed by African Blackwood and are one-of-a-kind commissioned paintings. Each one is easily worth a lifetime of what you lot make.
Luke, do the dishwashers go into the kitchen or the butler's pantry?
Pantry, Buttercup.
What?
Careful, that's a No, you there, put that down. You do not manhandle a Napoleon Abueva.
I can see the exasperation, and I have to send the foreman for an apologetic glance. Even Johannes rolls his eyes as he goes by. Considering Luke is always like this during a project, Johannes and I have gotten used to it. Poor Marianne, on the other hand, looks a bit stressed at seeing the gigantic mess before quickly going back to work. Everything has to be perfect, exactly the way he wants it. One little thing out of place, one little thing that didn't fit the image he clearly constructed in his head, and Luke gets bent out of shape.
Sweetie, why don't we go and sort your soups upstairs? Let Johannes and Marianne and the foreman deal with the rest of the work.
We have this, Mrs. Wright.
Yes, please do go before a blood vessel bursts. Bloodstains are so troublesome to clean.
Oh my god. Taking him by the hand, I lead him upstairs into their bedroom. This place has been arranged first so that we can get some rest, no matter what state the rest of the mansion is in. I am definitely glad I can just lie down on a soft, comfy bed after what has been a busy morning. Watching Luke act like his life depended on getting his move done is tiring all on its own. And to think I have a whole day of this ahead of me. I feel the bed dip beside me as Luke sits down with a sigh.
Well, I can't wait for this to be over.
I don't know. It's fun seeing you all fired up. Here at home and not at work, you know.
You know I can't always be home, Hannah. I have a company to run, unless you've forgotten.
Why is he being so freaking snippy with us?
I haven't forgotten. You're the one who insists on being there to make sure each and every little thing is under control. I just really miss you sometimes, and I wish you were at home more often. Why, if you're not careful, I might go a bit loopy and I'll start bringing cats home. And soon enough, one day you'll find yourself going home to a farm just filled with felines that follow you everywhere.
Oh, don't bluff. The things would shred up your precious furniture. Besides, you don't even like cats.
True. Dogs are infinitely superior, of course.
But what about the wet dog smell? The mess? I'm not cleaning up after a mutt, no matter how cute. If you think about it, a cat would be better.
It's not always that we can lie down and talk about these sorts of things. To joke around as if we're teenagers again with every little problem in the way of responsibilities and roles. To hear his genuine, honest to goodness laughter is a rarity. This is the second time as of late. I bet you this beautiful moment is just gonna come crashing down any minute. Like, we've already seen her, you know what I mean? Like, our first haunting, or actually our second haunting should happen any moment. And I can only see it as signs of good things to come.
All good points. I guess we could just have kids. That is, if you prefer dealing with soiled nappies and sick as opposed to dead birds, mice, and litter boxes. I've already told Marianne about turning the second bedroom into a children's room.
I guess sometimes I don't know when I'm crossing a line. I didn't say I am a good comedian, did I?
Not this again.
What? I wasn't being serious.
It's not something you take the piss out of. Having a kid is a big responsibility, Hannah. We've talked about this, haven't we? I'm not ready to be a parent. I'd probably end up killing the little brat by the week's end.
What should we say? What happens if we apologize for bringing it up? So being weak, showing signs of weakness decreases our relationship with Luke. No, I don't want to play Hannah that way, but like, if that's what it takes to bring Luke down, I'm okay. I'm the worst person ever. I feel guilty, uneasy about bringing this topic up. This isn't the first time I've brought it out there, considering we've been married for 7 years. But I should have learned my lesson. Talking about it has always gotten me disapproval. After all, this is one of the surefire ways to get Luke in a terrible mood. Plus, another thing is, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, you're gonna be a great dad, Luke. Like, you just, like, seeing how he, treated Zach.
I'm sorry.
It treats his own wife. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend he's gonna be a good father.
But I do think you...
Don't finish that sentence, Hannah. Just don't. We know how this discussion ends. Let's not fight over what-ifs and if-onlys.
But what if we are going to have a family, Luke? What then?
I just told you. No what-ifs.
We won't talk about it until you're ready.
Let's not talk about it then. Ever.
Oh! Shit. The silence that follows is stifling. I avert my gaze from him, favoring the view of the four-poster bed, overseeing his embittered expression. Just seeing about how insensitive I am for bringing it up makes me feel sick to my stomach. You're not insensitive, though. Like, we stay still. Neither of us dare make the first move to leave. Until a crash from downstairs cuts through the tension.
Oh, bloody hell. What is it now? I can't get away for 10 minutes without someone mucking something up. That better not be what I think it is. I know it's only an 8 million yen vase, but I swear, I
don't stop him as he storms off, and he doesn't bother to look my way. Yet, I could still feel his eyes boring into me. Alone, as per usual. I should really be used to it by now. I can feel the minutes tick by with me just lying there, feeling miserable and full of self-pity. You shouldn't feel bad, though. He's the one who brings you down. Like you said, he gives you disapproval because you want a family. And there is nothing wrong with that. I have rolled over to lie on my stomach at this point, with my face buried into the pillows when there's a knock at the door. Grumbling at them to go away doesn't work, as a voice comes from the other side.
Madam, the photographer from Luxury Living is here.
What? Wait, is that today? Oh, yes! People had caught wind of our new mansion the very moment we left the open house. Luke had boasted he could acquire the property in no time and allowed a photo shoot for an interior design magazine to be scheduled for today. Well, there were complications and it took longer than it usually does for us.
In a minute, Hansi.
Johannes, if you could at least make it through the end.
Tell them I'll be right down, Hansi.
She doesn't get anyone's names right. She called Rose Rosie. She calls Johannes Hansi, and she called Isabella Isabel. Okay, this is kind of an interesting just trend going for her. The mansion grounds have been one of the first things we fixed up aside from the bedroom. Although it's a work in progress, it has a promising start, and I can already see the flower patches. Luke's favorite daffodil stands out easily, having been transplanted from the pots that used to litter the rooftops of our penthouse. Why, if the moving crew thought that Luke had had a hard time on them, they clearly didn't see the landscape on his way out. The man looked like he was ready to faint, and Luke seemed like he was ready to kill him by the end of their discussion. Oh my gosh, it's Zach again. No! No! I don't want Luke to torment this poor soul again. It is in the gardens that I see him standing near the flowers in quiet admiration. He is hard to miss, the hulk of a man that clearly did not belong, and the big backpack and suitcase he had with him, which made him look much larger. It is a peculiar sight seeing someone who looks like he does handling little delicate things with such care. He looks up from the gardens and does a double take before a friendly face replaces his serene expression.
Miss Wright, yeah? Hi, Zachary Steele here from Luxury Living, ma'am. Hope you weren't waiting too long. But it looks like you're still moving in, huh? Thought for a second there my calendar was wrong and I came here too early.
You look familiar. Have we met?
I have a very wide social circle, so someone looks familiar at one point or another. But one would think I'd remember someone who stands out like him. The struggle to recall must have been evident on my face as he quickly and kindly answers my question.
Oh, I was with Isabella, your estate agent, when she had the house blessed.
And your husband called me the N-word?
Oh, yes, that's right. Small world, isn't it?
Should have known you were Miss Wright.
The one and only. Welcome to Maison de Wright. And yes, we've been in the process of moving in as we were delayed, but it won't be a problem. They're just adding a few things here and there, and you should still be able to do your work. Where's the rest of your crew then, Mr. Steele?
Zach is fine, please. Mr. Steele makes me feel like I'm a mascot for a cleaning product. Anyway, I'll be your one-man crew for today. Don't worry, been doing this gig for a while now.
Oh.
You must be quite the veteran to handle this on your own. We've had a full crew coming into our penthouse the last time we were covered in your magazine.
Veteran? Oh, your words are too kind, Miss Wright.
Hannah! If I get to call you Zach, you have my permission to call me Hannah.
Alrighty then. Anyway, I'm no veteran, but I know my camera well enough to make sure this is a good shoot. You can trust me on that, Miss Wright. Hannah.
Ah! Zachary proves quickly enough that I can, in fact, trust him. His skills with the camera and experience in this industry, at the very least. He is kind, courteous, listening, and following as I lead him around the house. A very nice fellow, and he treats our household staff well whenever he crosses paths with them. I answer his questions to the best of my abilities, and he is patient enough to answer mine whenever I get curious enough. For one, I ask what the bags are for. They are quite the magician's toolkit. From inside, he has procured several items to embellish the interior with. Bowls of fruit, lemons, trays of pepper mills, stacks of cookbooks, cutting boards, and glass canisters filled with colorful nuts and grains are brought into the kitchen for a setting. For the bathroom, there are white towels, seashells, and decorative soaps. There are other things as well, too numerous to count, all in that large backpack and suitcase.
Tricks of the trade. Softens up a room, makes a place feel more homey, and fills it up with texture. But you guys probably have better stuff I can use for this.
No lights. Don't tell me all of these are just props.
Well, I've got my tripod here. For things like these, natural light is best. I'll just have to set the shutter speed to a real slow setting, and as long as nobody steps into the shot, it'll look great.
Oh, it better.
We go through the rooms one at a time, although we tackle the ones that the movers and have no business anymore. The ballroom needs a little preparation with its grand design. Although there is some trouble at first with the wide open space, the pictures all being backlit, it is in the kitchen that Zachary's props come in handy, considering how Johann's kept the place so neat and sterile. One can practically eat off the floor. We carry on touring the house, taking pictures where we can, with exception to the rooms that have yet to gain any purpose or design. Too bad I can't sneak a peek at his photos yet. Funnily enough, he is using a traditional camera. I didn't even know film still existed. With the way he speaks, however, I can see he knows enough about his craft that I'm not too worried about botched photographs. I imagine photography must be cathartic for him, judging by how at ease he looks while he's taking pictures. There are small snippets of conversation in between the clicking of the camera. He even goes as far as to talk about these terminologies like shutter speeds and an aperture when I ask about the technological aspects. I can't quite see the picture as it is made, much like when I watch artists paint on their canvas. Just watching someone passionately practicing their craft such as this is exciting in its own way. Going through the many rooms has been quite the exercise with both of us. Despite that, he has been so nice, and I find myself putting on my best smile. But it is as we are taking pictures in the foyer that everything comes to a standstill for a moment. Just a moment. And I had not been paying attention, I wouldn't have even noticed. It is merely a split second when Zachary's rhythm is put to a halt. His finger doesn't move to release the shutter, yet he doesn't pull the camera away from his face, gaze still firmly fixed through the viewfinder. His hands shake, and there is a light sheen of sweat on his forehead.
Zachary?
No response.
Zach, is something the matter?
Lowering his camera, he blinks and stares at something from behind me, shaking his head. Turning around, though, I see nothing that could have gotten his attention.
Oh, no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something, that's all. Let's get back to the pictures. Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
I struggled to respond this time. There's a sudden weight on my back and an indescribable tightness around my throat. Everything stops. Everything starts again as I manage to choke out.
If you're sure.
I don't know what just happened. It was probably just a dizzy spell. I'm fine. And he said he's fine. We continue at the same pace as before, although there is an unspoken agreement that we will not talk about what happened.
So, is this a full-time job for you then?
Nah, I just freelance mostly, for magazines, newspapers, and events. So you can't really call it a full-time job. It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do. At least, not all the time.
What is it that you want to do then?
Maybe I've been out of line sticking my nose into other people's business, but I can't help but ask. I do regret so, as I see his shoulders slump and the easygoing air he has fades away. He looks torn over whether he wants to talk about it or not.
Films. Documentaries mostly. But cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right? I was working on this thing, actually.
What thing?
Well, it wasn't really a big thing. People didn't like Blue Fonzie very much.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Very funny.
So, Grand Director, do you want to tell me what Blue Fonzie is all about?
He hesitates. But when I refuse to budge on the matter, he gives in and spills it all out. Blue Fonzie, la hure la pras sombrel das Norris Britannicis. I probably butchered that. Dark blue, the darkest hours of the Black British. He speaks with a passion of one. Oh shoot. There is conviction, knowledge, and experience in his speech. Why, I would have told him he is an amazing speaker, if only I wasn't so engrossed listening. Prejudice and discrimination in schools and the workplace. Lesser chances for opportunity and higher chances of being treated like a criminal. He spoke of blacks and people of color in general still being treated like second-class citizens. All because of the color of their skin. It is all just positively riveting and sad. It comes to a point wherein he soon loses steam. He looks abashed, realizing what he has just done.
Sorry, I just got so carried away and...
It's fine. It is really so fascinating to watch people talk about their passion after all. You should see how your eyes light up when you speak so fiercely. You do have very beautiful eyes.
Aww.
Uh-huh. Thanks, I guess.
He just doesn't know how to respond in this situation. I want to say that I understand where he's coming from, but I really don't, do I? I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I've lived a charmed life. It hasn't been perfect, but the difficulties I've been through pales in comparison to what others experience on a daily basis. I certainly don't know how I've fared were any different. Would I have still met Luke, and would he still loved me if I was any lesser?
What was your home like? These things you talk about, it sounds like you've... Well, I don't mean to pry, I mean...
Live with my older sister and my grandparents. We had a shop selling all sorts of things below our flat. And well, I was one of the few non-white, non-British students in class. I didn't get pushed around or anything straight up. Even then, I was one of the biggest kids around. But a pencil and notebook would go missing, you know?
Oh, that I knew. Children can be so cruel at times. Of course, it may have been a slightly different story when you have personal guards and the stolen items is not a pencil, but it's an expensive heirloom.
So what about you? How you liking your new house? It's pretty impressive.
It's nice, I suppose.
You suppose? Not big enough?
What? No, don't be a bully. It's just that...
I understand if you don't want to talk about it.
I was a little girl all dolled up and treated like fragile porcelain with nursemaids waiting to me on hand and foot. All the material possessions anyone could ever want, I could ask for on a whim, and it would be handed to me just like that. But I barely saw my parents, just goodbye kisses in the morning before they went off to who knows where they were needed next. I saw them more often on the telly and in the papers than I ever did in person.
I remember my old house. It was a lot like this one. Big walls and big holes, but nobody in it. Not really. It makes you think how alone you are.
A pensive mood overcomes us, and there's a moment where neither of us are sure how to go on from there. Things have gotten a bit too personal, yet it isn't wholly uncomfortable, like as if we've been friends. Things have gotten a bit too personal, yet it isn't wholly uncomfortable, like as we've been friends before.
Well, that's normal, ain't it? You just moved here. You'll make home out of it yet.
He certainly makes it easy to believe that. My childhood house is indeed a lot like this one. Just as large and extravagant, and just as empty. I hope he's right.
So, Monsieur le Photographe, you've covered the one and only Ermengarde Mansion. What's next on the agenda?
The interview?
Boring. It's an interior design and housing magazine.
And they want to know what Miss Wright has to say about her interior design and house.
Honor Wright thinks she bought a magnificent house that she can certainly brag about. Blah, blah. Boring. You know what they should print more of? I watched an interesting documentary the other day. Bleu Foncé, the darkest hours of the Black British. I recommend you watch it.
That's so sweet of her! Oh my gosh!
Those are the things that people should know about. What do they care if I use a purple or green bowl of fruit in my kitchen?
People, right?
Oui. People are shite. What do you think? Do I look good with this angle?
I strike a pose while he's busy, looking taken aback for a moment, probably not expecting me to just go and say such a crass word. But he recovers quickly, and right after snapping a few shots, he
Pierre,
grins.
vous êtes belle. You want copies of these ones?
Yes, please. So, the big boy knows French. You must have wooed a few ladies. Unless you're into gents. Either way, French is, after all, the language of romance.
No, I don't know about quoting fancy poetry, but I've made lunch for a girl before, and they did like that fancy French cuisine.
Can you cook your best?
I can cook just about anything as long as I know the recipe.
C'est magnifique.
It has been too long since I've had a nice and proper chat with a good friend. No, Lee is certainly not a good friend. And although we just met, Zachary is the sort who can probably befriend anyone. He's just a comfortable person to be around with. A bit too comfortable. The photo shoot went by a breeze. And somewhere along the way we talk and laugh, and I find myself getting a bit too close without realizing. He'll give me this strange look until I back off, and he'll go back to asking questions after I've agreed to do his little interview. It's just odd. Well, no. Me being friendly isn't that odd. That is how I am. Zachary is the one that's being odd. Why, anyone else would absolutely welcome the extra attention I give them. On the other hand, he looks almost flustered about it. He should be used to different personalities by now, having to deal with various people when he works. And if not, he needs to start. Perhaps nobody has shown him attention of this kind. He's a big boy. He should be able to handle me. All it is a friendly touch here, a pretty smile there, and a gentle swaying of the hips as I move around. Zachary grew and grew more red every time he noticed. Am I being mean as I find enjoyment in seeing him unravel? Perhaps. This went on during the interview and beyond that. There's nothing wrong with doing what we're doing, right? Zachary and I are just having a playful, friendly chat while enjoying the outside view. At least that's how I see it.
I'm sorry, but I'm really getting distracted. Could you maybe stop doing that?
Stop? I'm not sure if I want to, though. Alrighty, everybody. I think that's what we're gonna call it for now. This is... I'm happy that Luke hasn't, jumped in and has started being an absolutely racist asshole toward our good friend here. You know what I mean? I'm probably gonna have to take a route to sabotage our relationship with Luke. Just because I don't like him, man. I don't want a relationship with that dude. And poor Zach over here, man. I think she's just, she usually doesn't have someone to talk to, so having Zach to talk to is really nice. You know what I mean? But anyway, alrighty, everybody. What do you think's gonna happen next? Do you think that we're gonna be haunted again? Do you think Luke's gonna be haunted? How do you think the choices we're making here are going to impact other characters later? I'm curious to hear your answers down below. And alrighty, everybody, you all have a lovely day and a happy October, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!